This is Teresa with My Crochet Obsession, and today I want to show you how I crochet pansies. Now, if you've been following along with the 30 Days of Flowers, you'll know that I'm using almost all worsted 4-weight yarn, but today I tried to find all of my 3 or 2-weight yarn so that I could make my pansies smaller. I'll be using a 4mm crochet hook. Before we get started, I just want to talk about the anatomy of a pansy. Now, a pansy is a 5-petal flower, but 4 of the petals are stacked on top of each other, 2 and 2, and then it has 1 larger petal. Okay, well, that's enough talk. Let's get started.
For today's tutorial on the pansy, I have 4 different colors of 3-weight yarn. That's the smallest yarn that I have on hand. And the reason I recommend that is if you're trying to make pansies that are as they appear in nature, a 3 or even a 2-weight yarn is what you may want to choose because it will make a smaller flower. This one is made with worsted 4-weight yarn, and you can see by the palm of my hand it's almost the size of the palm of my hand, which is a little bit large for a pansy. They're about the size of a 25-cent piece, a quarter. So, but nonetheless, this helps in the tutorial so that you can see the stitches. This one is made with all 3-weight yarn, and you can see that it is a little bit smaller. This one is made with a combination of 3-weight yarn and 4-weight yarn on the outside, and this is the one that we'll be making for this tutorial. So begin with yellow. Most pansies come in a multitude of colors in nature, and but most of them do have a yellow center, but we're going to be using a yellow center today. And I'm using a 4mm crochet hook with my 3-weight yarn today. So with using your preferred method of making a ring, then chain 1, which does not count as a stitch, and single crochet into the ring 10 single crochet. That's 1. Once you have your 10 stitches in your ring, insert the hook into the top of the first single crochet, and before you slip stitch to join, pull the ring completely closed. I pull the ring before I slip stitch to join because sometimes once we pull the ring and then slip stitch, that first stitch is very hard to get into or impossible to find at all. So there we go. All right, now slip stitch and chain 2, skip a stitch, and into the front loop of the next stitch, slip stitch, chain 2, skip a stitch, and into the next front loop only, slip stitch. Okay? Now into the next stitch, through both loops, insert the hook and single crochet 2. all the way around to the very first stitch where we slip stitch to join.
For a total of 10 stitches. You should arrive at the stitch where we slip stitch to join the ring.
Is 10 stitches. 2 more single crochet there. Now count back. You should have 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 together. Okay, now then you will chain 2 and then find the back loop. Open up the chain space from the front that's right there, and where you slip stitched into the front loop, find the back loop of that same stitch and slip stitch in there. And chain 2 again, and then find the same stitch where after the first row of chains, find that same stitch and go right back into that same stitch. Those 4 petals that stack on top of one another, 2 and 2, they start and end at the same place. All right, so we're going to slip stitch into that same stitch where we ended that first chain space, chain 1 and pull up a loop and clip the yarn. So what we have is our ring with 10 stitches in it, and then we have we have 2 chain spaces for two of our petals of our pansy. Then we have 2 more chain spaces behind that for 2 more petals, and then we have all of the front round here, which is for our 1 large petal of the pansy. Okay, now then, next row, we're done with the yellow, and for the next row of petals, they're very colorful flowers. I'm going to use my variegated purple and begin with a slip knot on the hook. And find the first chain space on the front, on the top of the center. Find that first chain space right there and insert the hook there. And using your preferred method of attaching yarn, attach your new color and single crochet. There we go. And then half double crochet, my yarn split. That happens when you're using such a small hook for the yarn that calls for a little bit bigger hook. So all right, now we need a half double crochet, there we go, and a double crochet, half double crochet, single crochet, and then where you joined the chain space to start the second one, slip stitch right there in that stitch. Just slip stitch. Now into that next chain space, single crochet. We're going to do the same stitch pattern, single crochet, half double, a double, a half double, oops, got into my yellow there, and a single crochet. And that's the way it looks for those first two petals. Okay, so you've got two little scallops there. Now then, into the remaining part of the center. Now we're going to go through both loops of the rest of our flower center. I'm also going to use this opportunity to crochet over my yellow yarn end, one of them. So through both the loops from the yellow center, a single crochet and double crochet into the same, single crochet and half double crochet into the same stitch. Half double crochet into the next stitch. Let me pull up some yarn. And in the next stitch, half double crochet and double crochet. In the next stitch, double crochet. Two double crochet in the next stitch. Double crochet and half double crochet in the next stitch. And a slip stitch into, it should be the same stitch where you joined the yarn for this row. Okay, and that's the way that looks. So we've got the beginning of the petals 1 and 2, and petal 3 is a large, just one large petal. Now we're coming back to the back of our flower center where we have 2 more chain spaces. So into that chain space, and I am going to crochet over my yarn end in this round. Single crochet, and immediately from there go without a half double crochet, just jump right into a double crochet, because these petals are a little larger than the top 2 petals, and 2 more double crochets for a total of 3 double crochets in this chain space, and then a single crochet, and then in between the 2 stitches where they join there, slip stitch, and into the next chain space, insert the hook. It's kind of hard to see, I know that. Single crochet, immediately go to 3 double crochets, single crochet, and then I go to the back of the flower and just find a loop nearby to go under. Just one loop. You don't want it to show from the front. Just find a loop to go under and slip stitch, and then chain one, pull up a loop, and clip your yarn. And this is the way the flower looks at this point. So we've got 2 petals on the top and 1 large petal, and those are all on the top of the flower. And then the bottom of the flower has 2 more petals. The top 2 petals have the little scalloped formation and short, close to the center in the middle to form something like the top of a heart. Okay, from here, I'm going to get my white yarn and begin with a slip knot on my hook. Beginning on the first petal on the top, right there where I joined the yarn the first time, insert the hook in that very first stitch. And using your preferred method of attaching a new color of yarn, attach the yarn. I'm going to use a slip stitch for this row. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm still going to try a slip stitch. All right, I may have to hold that yarn just a bit to get in there. Okay. There we have it. Now, into the next stitch, single crochet, and half double crochet into the same stitch. Into the next stitch, double crochet, 2 double crochet in the next stitch. And in the next stitch, 2 double crochet. My yarn split again. It's one of those days, I guess. And the next stitch, half double crochet. No, actually, excuse me. In the next stitch, a single crochet. And into the middle stitch where we slip stitched before, we're going to slip stitch again right into the top of that same stitch. Now into the next stitch, that's our second petal. Now we're going to begin with a single crochet. And immediately 2 double crochet into the next stitch. And 2 double crochet into the next stitch. And double crochet in the next stitch, half double in the same stitch, and single crochet in the last stitch of the petal. And then slip stitch into the same stitch. Okay? And that's what the work looks like at this point. So we have completed petals 1 and 2. Now I'm going to I've completed the petal with the white yarn. I'm going to fold down my petals and go to the back of the flower again and find a loop to slip stitch with my white, and then chain one and pull up a loop and clip the yarn. I'm going to pull that yarn back to the back. I would like to deal with my ends, but I'm going to wait till the end. Now, with my darker purple, I'm going to finish my petals. But with this particular pansy, I'm only going to... My yarn is all messed up. Here we go. Sorry, I can't deal with this yarn and talk at the same time. Now, the purple, I'm going to do the purple only on the outside of the 3
Petals.
2 in the back, and then the larger petal. That will be the only place. And this yarn, unfortunately, I didn't have 3-weight yarn. This is a 4-weight, and that's why I chose to use it only on the outside. But I'm still using my 4mm crochet hook. Okay, so to begin, where we finished off with the white on petals 1 and 2, in the next stitch, attach the purple yarn. And I'm going to attach this time with a standing single crochet, because this petal needs to get large rather abruptly. So I'm going to start not with a slip stitch, but with a single crochet. And in the next stitch, a half double crochet. I'm having trouble with this. I need to loosen up my tension a little bit. 4mm crochet hook with 4-weight yarn is a little bit of a trick for me anyway. All right, half double complete. In the next stitch, double crochet 2. In the next stitch, 1 double crochet. And in the next stitch, 2 double crochet. In the next stitch, 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, 2 double crochet. In the next stitch, 1 double crochet. In the next stitch, 2 double crochet. In the next stitch, 1 double crochet. And in the next stitch, a double crochet and a half double crochet. So here's the double and then a half double. And in the next stitch, half double. And in the next stitch, single crochet. And in that same stitch, slip stitch, because we need this petal to come in like it ends. So we need it to come in and pinch in. Okay? Pansies always remind me of a bearded man. I don't know why. These are the eyes, and here's his beard. Okay. Now, into the final petals, 2 petals left. So slip stitch into the first stitch or the join there as quickly as you can get in to that petal. Find a space there. I got into that very first one. Yay! Slip stitch to join. All right. And into the next stitch, single crochet.
Two double crochet into the next 3 stitches.
And in the final stitch of the petal, right there near the little divot, single crochet, and in the same place where we slip stitched before, go right there into that stitch and slip stitch, because we still need this petal to come in right there in the middle. And in the next stitch of the last petal, and that stitch is kind of gets hidden because the stitch right next to it is a slip stitch. So pull it over so you can see the top of it there, and it's a single crochet. In the next 3 stitches we need 2 double crochet for a total of 6 stitches over the next 3. So there's 1, and in the last stitch, single crochet. And then fold the petals over, and then find a loop somewhere in the back there to slip stitch. I can go right into that, the white yarn from the previous row, slip stitch. You don't want that last slip stitch to show. Chain 1, pull up a loop, and clip the yarn. And our pansy is complete. Pull that yarn, that tie off to the back. And our pansy is complete. Yeah. You know, I gotta admit now that we've gotten all the way through this tutorial. It's true, I waited kind of till the end for a pansy because it's a little more involved. You know, it's a 5-petal flower, but it's on 2 different rows. So there is our pansy. It's not my favorite flower to make, was going to be my point. It is not my favorite flower because it's so much work, but they're really cute, and I am happy that I did this tutorial today. I'm still having a blast bringing you the 30 days of flowers, and until I see you again, keep calm and crochet on.